I think what makes Dead Girls Vintage so unique is really the love and care that we give to garments and accessories from the decades past. Even when I was in fashion design school, I was always looking back in history. I think it is just displaying that history on a pedestal again. It's really about the kind of the love and the care that we give to the history of the pieces. My name is Kira Lee Cahill, and I operate and own Dead Girls Vintage. Dead Girls Vintage primary focus is in vintage clothing and accessories. We started focusing in women's, but we're going into men's accessories and fashion too. I had went to school for fashion design at Columbia College Chicago. When I first graduated, I thought I was going to just start my own business with fashion design, with my own designs. I've always been kind of an entrepreneur at heart, so I wanted to start something that was fashion-based, but that wasn't my heart and soul on the plate to make money. And I have had a collection of my own vintage clothing since I was a teenager. It's one of the first things I started collecting. I was talking to a friend and they were talking kind of about Etsy and being like, Kira, you should just start, selling what you have and just see what happens. So I did that. We took a couple pictures. It was just me and my friend who was modeling the stuff, and we put it out into the world, and that very first night we had 4 sales. I didn't even think I was gonna make any money. It was a fluke to me in a way. It's pretty badass that I get to make money doing this and having a grand old time while I'm doing it, but it never was about money. I do primarily do my business through Etsy, which is an online marketplace for handmade and vintage goods. The other thing that we've just gotten to recently is taking our shop live to the vintage markets. We started with Vintage Garage Chicago, which was an amazing place to start, I think. The community of vintage people is just so giving with their information, giving with the shows that they go to and they do. And through doing that, we've just been going to more and more and having a great time, meeting more people that are into the same stuff we are. My boyfriend and I, he's honorary dead girl. We go to different thrift stores, different antique markets. We really love going to Indiana and Wisconsin actually. So we live in Chicago, but there's great little tiny shops that you wouldn't even find kind of here. Great thing about Dead Girls Vintage is most of our price points are, I'd say, pretty good. And the reason we're able to do that is because we find things at lower prices than if we were to shop in Chicago. I love going out on the trips and finding the stuff. I love that. It's like the treasure hunting. I remember going out with my dad when I was a little kid. This is an embarrassing story, but he used to go dumpster diving constantly. And when I was very little, I was totally cool with it. And then I hit an age where I was like, oh, I'm embarrassed of my dad. But now I'm like my dad again. That's probably my favorite part, is just the treasure hunting. But I also really, really enjoy, and this is probably my fashion background again, getting home with the pieces and styling them. And I do like to style the pieces for the shop to be a little more modern. I like to try to show girls a way that you could take vintage and wear it modern. I also just love doing the photo shoots. So what a lot of my friends didn't even notice until recently too was that the shop is all me. I do the photography, I do every piece of it. So I didn't go to school for photography, but I have a great time figuring it out. Now that we've started taking it live, that's another one of my favorite parts, is actually having that face-to-face interaction with your customers, which you don't get through online shopping. The Etsy store started out, gosh, I want to say there was maybe 10, 15 pieces, and I didn't promote it at all when I first started, the first year I want to say. I just kind of let it be this little thing. So as it started to grow and people were buying things, and I was like, oh, I should go get more stuff for the shop and just keep going. We have a couple hundred items in inventory now, but it started as just a tiny little, I didn't even tell anybody about it, to now all I want to do is grow it. It's kind of my #1 mission, of just let people know that it exists, let people know that I'll find you things that if you have a special request, I'm always kind of out shopping for vintage. So it's just grown in terms of it won't stop growing. Like, and it's kind of turned into its own beast, and I'm just kind of rolling with it. I have a grand plan for Dead Girls Vintage. It involves staying on the track we are for now for a little bit, which is getting into more of the live shows, getting our name out there more so that people know that we have this online shop that they can come back to. But then I'd say next 3 to 5 years, what my main goal is to get a big old truck. And I want to just paint the logo across the side, and I really want to take it everywhere. And if I could have it be a mobile shop that I could travel to Milwaukee for a weekend or wherever it may take us, just kind of keep growing it from there.